Welcome to the Leslie Hawkins podcast. Each week, my guest and I discuss one pivotal moment in their life, what they learned from it, and their words of wisdom. Some pivotal moments only reveal themselves in hindsight. For our guest today, what once felt like a career sidebar slowly revealed itself as something much bigger, a calling rooted in service, impact, and meaning. It began with teaching children with cancer how to waterski, and what followed was a realization that helping others wasn't a side project, it was the work. She went on to combine her love of rock climbing with her desire to create access and belonging, ultimately building the Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society. This is a conversation about curating a career with intention, recognizing purpose when it shows up, and choosing meaningful impact over a conventional path. Welcome to the Leslie Hawkins podcast. I am so glad that you are here, and I would like to introduce our guest for today, Kate Stewart. So Kate is the Executive Director of the Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society. Now, you and I met when we were both at Adidas, and you were leading marketing for the outdoor business unit. So we've known each other a few years.
Yes, a few years.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, welcome. I'm really grateful that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm excited to be here and chat with you today.
Awesome. So this podcast is all based on one question, which is, what is one pivotal moment in your life? And the reason I chose that question was because, well, we all have pivots during our life, and there tends to be there's one or two, or maybe even a pivotal period in people's lives, some of which is imposed on them and some of which they actually control themselves. But there can be, at least in my experience, situations during a pivot where you feel like you're the only person, where nobody in the world has any idea what this is like. When in actual fact, when you start talking about it, you find that there's an entire community of people that are like, no, I totally understand what you're going through. And so I wanted to create this platform to give people an opportunity to tell their stories, and for the audience to not only learn about these incredible humans and these great stories, but also to give them a sense of really not feeling alone during their pivots. So that's what we're doing here today.
That's great. I love it.
Perfect. So let me ask you, Kate, okay, what is one pivotal moment in your life?
So again, it's a great question. I think everybody on your podcast tells you it's such a great question because it forces you to think about your life and look at the moments. And I think for some people, it's obvious, like this is it. And for some people, in the moment they know. And I think some people, like you ask them 10 or 20 years later and they look back and they realize how sort of important a moment was. And I think it was more that for me, because at the time it just kind of felt like my career progressing, or even like arguably it felt like a sidebar in my career. Okay. And so you introduced me as the executive director of the Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society. And that is who I am and what I do. But that actually started when I was in grad school. So I was in grad school at U of T. I was working at sick kids in a lab, and I did cancer research. And it was such a great experience. Well, and I guess I should go back to how I got to there. But it was such a great experience. I was in the lab of Dr. David Malkin. We studied a cancer predisposition syndrome.
Oh.
So kids had lots of cancer early in life, and my research project was looking at genetic modifiers of radiation response. So when you have cancer, often you'll have radiation as part of your treatment. Yes. And a lot of the kids that we worked with had cancers that were caused by that radiation, more so than general population.
Okay.
And so I was trying to predict that. And I think it was a really cool, basically being able to have affect the outcomes for these patients and for these sick kids' patients. It was really impactful for me. And I felt that was very important.
Yes.
And I was kind of actually led there. So taking it a step back through I worked at Camp Ooch for a summer, which is now
Yes.
Campfire Circle.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've heard of it or the audience has heard of it.
Maybe explain for everyone.
Yeah. So if you've ever heard of the Sporting Life 10K, I think everybody knows the Sporting Life 10K because
Yeah.
they shut down Toronto on Mother's Day
Yes.
to run a 10-kilometer race down Yonge Street. And Camp Ooch is a camp for kids affected by childhood cancer.
Okay.
And so coming out of school, frankly, I was looking for a job that paid some money. I had worked for other summer camps before that didn't
Right.
pay much. And I taught water ski there. And it was just kind of a convenience thing. I felt good about it. It was felt like impactful. But ultimately that was, in that summer, I had so many really powerful experiences where kids would come, they'd spend most of their life in the hospital, they had a new disability, whatever the case was. And I was able to give them an experience that they knew they couldn't do. They showed up and they didn't even want to get on the boat. That was too much for them. They
Get it.
didn't want to get in the water. Like you go through the kids, just come back to the back of the boat, check out the thing with me. Let's practice here. Like we had kind of just progress to sort of build confidence. And it's funny, a little sidebar to that is I'd come home and tell all these magnificent stories.
Yeah.
And it was a volunteer-based organization. My dad actually ended up volunteering there for
So
a number
good.
of years afterwards, just because anyways, it was super powerful for me.
Yes.
I met my the supervisor for my lab when I was doing my master's at camp, and that was how I got involved there.
Okay.
So ultimately, kind of what I'm getting at there is everything, my early career was defined by impact and feeling like I was getting something out of my career. And the great thing about grad school at the time, and something that sort of really impacts my pivot and impacts a lot of my career now, is that I had the flexibility to have that impact in life. But like I'd be doing time trials, I'd be there at midnight some days, I'd be doing things, but it also meant that I could start this not-for-profit that I was running.
Yes.
So that's when the Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society was born.
Okay.
And kind of in that transition of becoming my own boss and having that impact, having this idea. So coming back from Camp Ooch, teaching all these people, it was all adaptive sport essentially.
Amazing.
I was a rock climber myself.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, like, oh, wow, what a great experience supporting all these kids.
Right.
And doing something that they know they can't do. And I'm a rock climber and like, wow, how inherently adaptable is this? We're all using all different parts of our body. Like you go to the gym and you hear everybody talking about how they did the climbs in the different way. And how did you do this? I'm too short for that. Like I don't have the upper body strength, but this is strong. And so it's just inherently so adaptable. So I reached out to MEC at the time.
Okay.
And I give them so much credit for this because I basically was like, oh, I think that this is a great idea. I know nothing about it. Like it was basically the spirit of it. I think they had a grant cycle, but
Okay.
and they were like, we love it. We want to work with you. You need to be an organization. We can't give you money to do this.
No, exactly.
Which is fair. So I then connected with Brent Goodman, who is running a few programs out in BC for adaptive climbing.
Okay.
Connected with him and started the Ontario branch of the Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society
Okay.
because basically I wanted to volunteer somewhere and nothing existed.
No.
So that was how we got started. And so in there, there's sort of this pivot in my mindset of I knew that I wanted to be, it was really important for me in my career to feel like I was having a meaningful impact in the world, not kind of
So good.
just selling the next whatever widget. And I think there's so much value in those jobs. And I think that in your day-to-day life, you can be doing something that isn't super impactful and have other impacts.
Yes.
But for me, it was really, really meaningful. And then that kind of, I hesitate to call it an entrepreneurial spirit where you kind of see a need in the community and bring it out. And that kind of launched that pivot towards that mindset really brought me to, it influenced the rest of my career. And some of my jobs since have been a little bit more traditional and some have kind of aired more on that side.
Right.
But it's always been around having that impact in my
Yes.
community. That was sort of where the importance
Exactly.
was to me. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. So you volunteered at Camp Ooch.
Mhm.
That got you access to the person that you did the research with.
Yes, Dr. David Malkin. He's amazing.
Incredible. That must have been incredible work, actually.
It was so
Yeah. I mean, anything, quite frankly, involved with sick kids, I tip my hat. They're doing so much important work.
It is so important. And I know a lot of people that work there, nurses and doctors. And my niece actually recently had a health scare, and she was there for about a week in the fall.
Yes.
And they just do amazing things. And to
Yes.
show up every day, and like the facility was so lovely. We were well funded. Like
Yes.
it just was, I was lucky as a grad student being in that position. But yeah, it was really impactful. And
Yes.
that location in sick kids is world renowned. I
Exactly.
went to Australia to present at a conference. Like it was a
Wow.
really cool
Okay.
spot to be.
Okay. So then you graduate,
Yes.
but then you and I met at Adidas.
Yeah.
So somewhere in there,
Yeah.
you did take a more traditional
Yes.
role.
So, and this kind of does go along with the pivot, was after I graduated, I was actually super excited to continue my career in sort of research or medicine or pharma, like really in that field that makes a lot more sense. But at the time, the Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society was really grassroots, and it was becoming something where it wasn't feeling possible anymore to be doing it alongside a full-time job.
Right. Okay.
So at the time I decided, I was like, okay, you know what? I'll never have this opportunity again. Because in my eyes, as much as I look back at it as a pivot, it was hard to see it at the time. Like I just did this 2 degrees. I was so excited to continue my career in that field and make some real money. But I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this again. I like live in a cheap apartment. I have support from my family. So I was like, I'm going to take a year. I'm going to invest in building this organization to something that somebody sane would do. Not just like a grad student, like working there.
Who's super keen and ready to go.
Exactly. So something that somebody sane would do, I'll hire them, and then I'll get a quote unquote real job.
Yeah.
So that was my plan at the time. It backfired a little bit for a few reasons, but ultimately was quite good because I graduated in the fall of 2019, was doing a wonderful job with my ambitions until the pandemic hit.
Yes.
Which was a little bit tricky because all the gyms were closed. And even though, so at the time we were building within the organization a really cool program that's still running. Check it out if you know anybody who might be interested.
Yes.
Which is a therapeutic rock climbing program.
Okay.
So we have a team of occupational therapists. So technically we could have been operating under sort of that healthcare license, but we had nowhere to operate.
Oh, I see.
So it was a little tricky. Like we mostly shut down, save for like a few outdoor climbs and things like that.
Okay.
But that was obviously like quite bad timing to be building this organization and jobs.
Yes.
So, so at the time in one of I should really plug all of our sponsors here because they're so amazing. But Arc'teryx at the time was giving us a good amount of money for running mostly our outdoor climbs. But again, they were wonderful. They'd like supply us with gear, like whatever we needed. They were
so good.
So awesome. And so I worked closely with their marketing team.
Okay.
Because what you might kind of identify was you knew me in a marketing capacity, but I haven't talked about any marketing education
I
yet.
know.
So kind of in this time, things were a lot slower than I would have hoped for adaptive climbing, logically.
I get it, right?
And so I was like, okay, well, that's fine. Just a hiccup. The world's going to open again. Doesn't hurt to sort of get this adjacent job at Arc'teryx in my like fledgling marketing career, which I didn't really realize at the time was going to become a marketing career. So having worked with the team, I was really well connected there. They needed somebody. So I started there as a marketing lead, which is a really community-based role on the Arc'teryx team. But it was so perfect for me. It complemented what I was doing well. Whenever I needed a day off to do climbing things,
Mm-hmm.
I had it. There was no questions asked because that was
Right.
the spirit of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
I should know this, but it was like live it days, which is
Okay.
basically you live the audience of our
Yeah. You live the
of the
purpose.
organization.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like really a perfect transition there. And in the meantime, with adaptive climbing, it actually was quite good because I think ultimately looking back, it doesn't make sense for it to be one person's job.
Yes.
Now we have a team of, I believe we have 6 OTs plus myself
Okay.
who share responsibilities. And so that means like if somebody, for example, is taking time off because they got this really cool job or one of our OTs traveled to, I think it was Curacao and did her master's diving license or whatever. Like,
Sure.
and she was gone for half a year maybe. But like she could step away because we could kind of all fill in.
All
and I
fill
think
in.
for this
Okay.
type of organization,
Yes.
that made the most sense.
Exactly.
And then as far as growth goes, like I think there's sometimes just, we're excited about a lot of growth opportunities right now, but it just wasn't going to be super quick for any one person.
Right. Okay.
So anyways, it turned out really well for us in that sense.
That's great.
And then when I was about ready to leave Arc'teryx, Adidas reached out to me.
Yes.
So that's how we met.
That's how we met.
Because then I had marketing experience,
Yes,
I had outdoors
exactly.
experience. I was just well-rounded for that
Yes, exactly.
outdoors marketing job.
And then, so the Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society, having an idea, but then actually building it. How did that happen? Because I mean, one thing I have learned about you is that you are very purpose driven. And yes, as you said earlier, you really want to have an impact. But having the idea, and building it, and making sure that people are coming, that you have sponsors, that you have occupational therapists, that like, how did you build all of that? Like, is there a template you follow or?
So my grandfather used to always say, luck is preparedness and opportunity, or opportunity is preparedness and luck, whatever it is. And I think the kind of point I wanted to immediately answer by saying luck.
Okay.
But that wasn't exactly it. It was a lot of trial and error and the things that came up. And I think the key, and what I kind of always, I tell people is listen to the audience. Like, don't try to create a product and then sell it to people. And so how it really started. So another amazing plug of somebody to look into. Jesus Sulit was our first occupational therapist.
Okay.
She's an amazing woman. She does a lot of really cool mindfulness stuff now. If you need somebody to do like a corporate mindfulness.
Okay, nice. Good.
That's kind of her jam. But so at the time, she was a few years after having a spinal cord injury herself. She had had a motorcycle accident. Her dad rode motorcycles and she was so excited to do it with him. In her course, she like hit a curb. Anyway, so it was really tough for her. But she moved out to BC during her recovery. She wanted to be able to walk along beaches. She wanted to be able to do all that recovery in nature.
I get it.
And she found rock climbing out there after her spinal cord injury.
Okay.
And she had done some climbing before, but sort of returned to it there. Didn't think it was possible. And sorry, I don't know if I mentioned this. She was an occupational therapist beforehand too.
Okay.
So she really had that lens of going through her therapeutic journey and her rehab journey from this accident.
Okay.
With this healthcare lens. So what she was climbing the Chief, which is this beautiful mountain in Squamish. If you're driving in up to Whistler, you pass it.
Yes.
And she climbed Banana Peel, which is this really cool, amazing route. It goes all the way up the apron. And she was on this climb using her hands and her feet. And she was like, this feels a lot like when I went to like physio and they had me starting out crawling.
Yes.
And then they have you using your hands and feet and you work on the balance and you try to do more delicate steps and be more intentional with this. And this is like, it was how her rehab journey went.
Okay.
So I listened, we heard, we brought some healthcare professionals that were in Toronto together that were part of her network, my network. And we said, we see this, we think this is a thing. is it? Like, would you refer your clients? Like, how do you, like, what do we do? And so that's kind of where the luck, we happened upon this sport, but then we found out what the audience needed. So we had case managers too, who are like basically the people doing all the decision making.
Yes. Okay.
And all the referrals. And basically they said, you know what, this is amazing. We want something that people can do long-term. It's something people can do with their families. It's something, there's like emotional benefits, like the sense of accomplishment.
Totally.
But you know what? It's so intimidating. Everybody that I know that I want to refer to this, they'll say, no way, I can't climb.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that sounds familiar. Back to my water ski teaching days for all these kids. And so I said, well, actually, I think they suggested, this wasn't even my idea. So again, a little bit of luck. They said, you know what, why don't you do try-it sessions? Free try-it sessions. You come out, you try climbing, you get to know, meet the team, like try the right harness for you, supports the upper body, like try our systems. We've got this great set of tools that we've been working on over all the years. Make these try-it sessions. And you know what? We'll sponsor them. We had 3 people that were there that were part of our network that were and they've sponsored us now for, this must be their 8th year sponsoring us. They're
Very
amazing.
nice.
Again, all I can plug though.
Yes.
9 personal injury lawyers, innovative case management, and neurocore physiotherapy and Pilates, again, have been with us for all this time.
So good.
Came up with these great ideas. So we took that now, and like still to this day, we do 2 try-it sessions and then a 6-week program. 2 try-it sessions and a 6-week program. And we have a lot of returners, and not everybody does it. I think every sport is something where you come out, maybe you like it, maybe you have a great day, but it's not for you to continue. Maybe you have a great day and you buy climbing shoes the next day and you're keen.
Right.
And like, maybe you come out and you're like, oh, I'm glad I tried it, but this is not for me.
Yeah.
And with every audience, it's that. And so that's where the try-it sessions are just, people get surprised. Then they love it. And anyways, successful program over the years for that reason. And then the rec program, it's kind of the same process of elimination, talking to the gyms. How do we run this program in your facility? Like talking to the audiences, different groups. The Aphasia Institute, for example, is a group that we work with a lot, and they have an amazing audience. And like, how do we work with your group? How do we connect? How does this audience connect with climbing?
Right. Right.
So just listening to like what the needs are of the audience.
Yes.
And sometimes we get it wrong. Like we've had climbs where like 2 people show up, which isn't not successful.
Yes.
But it just maybe like wrong time, wrong place, wrong marketing.
Right.
So live and learn, trial and error.
Okay.
And listening to, there's so many amazing people that are doing adjacent things, really listening, humble, ear to the ground.
Yes.
Who can help you?
Very much grassroots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there isn't a specific location in which you work out of.
Not exactly. So we work out of a few different gyms, mostly.
Okay.
So we kind of rotate between, for our rec programs, we'll rotate between 4 gyms and do like once a month. So 3 a year at each gym.
Right. Okay.
That would be True North Climbing, Base Camp Climbing, which is right downtown, Boulders in Etobicoke, and Reach, which is in Aurora.
Okay. Great.
When that's like a new gym. One of our OTs actually owns it. So we're always excited to work there and like reach a new kind of audience.
New
up in
audience.
that area, which is great.
And the people that come to the climbs are referred to by the occupational therapist, by rehab facilities.
Lots of different. So for the therapeutic program, it's usually, like their case managers, OTs. Go to like the OBIA, Ontario Institute of Brain. We'll go to conferences.
Okay. Yes. Got it. I got it. There's a lot of acronyms. Don't you worry. Yes. I get it.
We just went this fall and we had an amazing time.
Okay.
But we'll go to conferences and chat with people. We try to like, when we write grants, we try to do like marketing for that kind of thing and just sort of share the word just to make sure people know, because it is kind of niche.
Yes.
So we'll go talk for referrals. A lot of different people, like sometimes people will be looking for just something unique for their client to do. Maybe they did extreme sports before, so they'll kind of reach out to their network and our name gets out. And then for the rec program, a lot of it's through social media, word of mouth. What we get a lot of is actually people that climb will see us at the gym, be like, oh, my brother, cousin, friend.
Okay.
Would be like, I want to bring them. How do I bring them? And so it's a lot of people who like know and love climbing.
Okay.
Want to bring out their friend who they didn't think could climb.
Well, and because if you think, I mean, that was my first reaction was if we're doing adaptive sports, rock climbing wouldn't have been on my list. And because, I don't know, well, because you're going vertical, right? And it's risky. And, you know, the adaptive work that I've been exposed to has been through golf.
Yeah.
Like you're hitting the ball. The ball's not coming at you, right? It's a far more passive sport. Whereas rock climbing is totally different.
But it also is slow. Like it doesn't, there are dynamic ways to climb.
Yes.
But like it can be slow and thoughtful. And especially, so for folks that have like coordination challenges or we get a lot of folks with like brain injuries where it's the connection isn't there. And we just have tools and progress capture and things that like,
so good.
That stabilize the playing field so that it's adaptive, right? Like it brings it to the right level for that. And we don't make it easy for anybody. It's everybody's earning what they're doing. It's we try to make it as authentic of an experience as possible.
Yeah.
But really like all the reasons that kind of make climbing that you described, like, oh, you're using all your limbs, you're going vertically. It's all these things are actually what makes it very adaptable. Suddenly you're using all your limbs. Like there's no, it's not like running where if you're missing a leg, wow. Like, I mean, you can do it. There's so many good prosthetics for it, but there's two legs. They're doing this rhythm. Like that's what running looks like. Climbing looks like so many different things and so many different things inherently.
Right.
So that's cool.
So you were initially with the Ontario branch. There is a group out in Vancouver. But what are the chances of expanding across the country?
That's a good question.
Thought it might be.
Well, it's funny. We just recently did a bit of a reorganization.
Okay.
And even January, actually, we reorganized into officially a national organization.
Excellent.
Which is, thank you. Yeah.
That's so good.
It feels a little silly to say because we've been operating kind of as one, but because we technically started in BC, we were a BC society with an Ontario sub-branch, but everything most things were happening in Ontario.
Yes.
So just the structure was slowly not making sense. And we were kind of doing workarounds for everything. And it was just weird. So we recently reorganized into this national not-for-profit, aiming for charitable status.
Great.
But our new board and our new treasurer, he asked me such a great question because it was kind of complicated to do a lot of things before.
Yeah.
Our eyes are just now open to the opportunity. And this has been on our radar for a while, but just felt impossible at the time.
Yes.
He said to me, if you had unlimited money tomorrow.
Yeah.
He named a number, but
yes,
it's all a dream. So if you could do anything you wanted tomorrow, like what are the routes for expansion? Like what are those next steps that you'd do? And then like that kind of just opened the doors. It was such a good question that now that we have this structure, what are the doors that open and which ones do you open first?
Yes.
Where's the low hanging fruit? And so that sort of chapter philosophy.
Yes.
Because I think we can just really spread
absolutely
to so many different areas. You just need an enthusiastic group of people. I think having health care professionals, I think occupational therapists are a perfect
they're
avenue
part
there.
Of it. Yes.
To sort of bring that to different areas of the world, we've created this really cool model that I think we can do. And we run gym training. So we've trained like the gym in Kitchener and Guelph.
Okay.
And so they have the capacity and the tools to accommodate anybody.
Right.
But to have like structured programming is something that I think is really valuable. And it's not going to be a tomorrow thing, but it's on our radar. And we're actually also rebuilding our website as part of this. And part of it is going to be like basically just asking for inquiries. Because I think, again, that's going to start from coming from the audience.
Exactly.
Like get some interest in different parts of the world.
Yes.
The parts of the world, I guess, but I mean mostly Canada.
Yes.
And then figure out what that chapter program looks like, what we can offer, what they can offer.
Yes.
And how that's managed.
And well, which is fantastic. And I know from cousins that I have, there is a huge climbing community in Edmonton. I think there is probably everywhere, but they are very, very keen climbers. So I'm sure there's a lot of those communities across the country and elsewhere. So there is other adaptive sports in Canada. And is there partnership opportunities? Do you work with any other groups to try and offer, multiple sports or open people's eyes maybe to different options?
Yeah, there's a few different groups, and a lot of the folks that we work with will also like able sail, for example. They might sail as well in the summers or do a few different things. We don't necessarily work directly. We're sort of building some relationships because we do some outdoor climbing.
Okay.
And the problem with outdoor climbing in Ontario is that the crags, which would be like the climbing areas that you go to, aren't actually that accessible.
No.
It's like Rattlesnake where there's a staircase, or Metcalf where it's kind of long. And so that's sort of a hurdle. And so working with different groups that there's a group that does some like accessible hunting, and they have these like little vehicles that can get you in places, or mountain biking, adaptive mountain biking. They have great just tools to help make the access a little bit easier.
Yes, that's the challenge.
Because it is a little tricky. And like, sure, I'm happy to offer a piggyback, but that's not practical.
No, no, exactly.
That's not the spirit of what we're doing.
No.
So we work with a few. I know like Parasport, for example, is a great organization that supports a lot of groups like us.
Okay.
And we'd like to do, I think there's advantage to doing more and working with more, I think, shared audiences and things like that. But no, not yet. We don't really work with too many other similar organizations.
So there's, it's down the road.
Down the road. We're getting there.
One of those other things.
Well, and along those lines, for as far as expansion goes, I think the model that we have for our therapeutic program is interesting for other groups like that. Like if we can sort of template that for able sail, for example, and like, let's look at the therapeutic benefits of that. Because ultimately, I think what a case manager has when somebody has an accident or an injury and they're recovering, life usually doesn't look the same afterwards.
No.
And so can they go back to whatever it is they're doing? No, but going to the gym and just working out, like how do you stay healthy and happy and have a meaningful hobby after that?
Yes.
And I love climbing. I think climbing is the best sport. Everybody should climb, but not everybody will climb. It's not for everybody.
No. Yes.
Whether they've had an accident or
not,
injury, illness, whatever, or not.
Yeah.
And so I just think that model that we have could really work well for a lot of other organizations, and it's not too hard to get it started. And so I think supporting other groups and doing that could be advantageous for them as well.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So everything that you are doing is all purpose-driven and all having an impact. So are there any statistics or anything, that you can share with the audience about the size of the adaptive community or the number of people that you've been able to impact, or any particular stories you could share? Sure. The size of the community generally is a tough question to answer. When I first started this, I was a grad student on the research side. I really tried to be data driven, and I think there's like some proposal documents of there's this many people with brain injury, and it is useful. It is helpful. It's great information. But I think that wasn't what ultimately led us to where we're going. Exactly.
As far as sort of what we're doing and our successes, it's amazing where we've kind of come from and where we're going to. And like I said, as a grad student, I was doing it just on top of everything else. We were learning. Everything took so much time because nobody had any idea how to do anything. And a lot of it was relationship building and grant writing and things like that. So we started with like a few days of programming a year.
Okay.
Now, and again, we're just so excited about having our new organization, new board, new everything. And so in putting that together, we kind of put together our calendar for the next year. And we have scheduled, like as of right now, 50 days of programming with more that are like anticipated.
Yes.
And that's just sort of mind blowing that there is
incredible.
that reach, that audience, that interest, and this sort of demand for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just our volunteers, again, we're a volunteer run organization.
Yes.
We do have a core team of occupational therapists that are paid for that role.
Yes.
But our volunteer team is amazing.
Incredible.
And again, we have like lawyers, we have just incredible people who are just so humble and come out and just support people like they're any other climber in the gym.
Yes.
So I think that's
great.
kind of, it really is amazing to me that provides us the capacity to be able to run
Yes.
50 days of programming with humble funding. And again,
So good.
our sponsors are all amazing.
Yes. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And now the next big thing is to try and get charitable status.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's amazing we don't have it. I think we've just been doing such amazing charitable work for such a
Yes.
long time. So charitable status, it's not even a complicated process. But now that we're kind of at square one with this organization, we need to officially put our bylaws in place. So our board's working hard on that.
Okay.
As well as in our purpose. When you incorporate, you have to have a charitable purpose.
Yes.
So we've written it out in a very charitable way.
Great.
So that application will probably go in after our next board meeting in March.
Okay.
And I think it can take about 6 months, but
Okay.
hopefully we'll do that. And then we're excited about the fundraising opportunities that opens.
That does. Yes.
Yeah.
Which
now,
would be really good.
most of our funding now is coming through like sponsorships, which again, can't speak
Super
highly enough
grateful
of them.
for.
They're
Absolutely.
super great. So sponsorships and through our therapeutic program, we bill insurance companies.
Okay.
And it's very affordable compared to a lot of other folks. We make it very reasonable. But I think that the opportunity to be able to fundraise, offer charitable receipts,
Agreed.
partnerships, and things like
Yes.
that is just next level.
Yes.
And we're super excited about that opportunity.
Yes. And then that will open up more doors.
Yes.
To allow you to work with more people because there will be the awareness, there'll be the marketing, there'll be
Exactly.
everything else that comes with it. And the more programming you can offer, there's definitely, I could imagine that there would be demand out there, particularly as you spread across the country and get into, broader conversations as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be great to see you help more people.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
We're super excited about it. I think there's so much opportunity. And again, like I love climbing and I think it's for everyone. I think everybody should have the opportunity to try it.
Yes.
I think that gyms, and like I said, we do gym trainings. Like I think I would love for anybody to be able to walk into that facility and try climbing.
Yes.
Not just, oh, you can't because we just don't know if we have a safe harness, if we
Right.
we don't know how to work with you. So we're excited to make the climbing world accessible.
That's fantastic. All right. 2 more questions for you. One is, as you've, gone through your journey of working at Camp Ooch and then going into cancer research and then moving into corporate world and everything that you've accomplished with the Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society, what have you learned about yourself and about your community?
So what I've learned about myself and my community, I am purpose-driven.
Yes.
I think our community really is too. I think at the heart of what we do, we all want to share sort of what we have and share the experience. And that's, you talk about like sitting down and eating a meal with somebody versus just like sitting on your phone and doing it. Like those interactions are so important.
Yes.
And so having been through all of this, what I've learned is, again, coming back to the beginning, and I think your first question, one of your earlier questions, where we talked about like, how did this come about? And it's luck, but it's not really. But it's, you're prepared, your eyes are open, and the solution will come because somebody in your community wants to help you or answer your questions or give you the advice or can I bounce this idea off you? Just the other day, I reached out to somebody who I had known in high school and hadn't talked to since. And we were adjacent. We weren't in the same grade, but like
Right.
I had just seen on the internet that they were doing something that I was like, I have questions for you. Like, can you? And he sat
So
down
good.
with me for half an hour and like I just bombarded with questions. And he was
Yes.
just so kind and thoughtful in answering
Mm-hmm.
thoughtfully and giving his honest feedback and opinions.
So good.
And I think that if you ask, somebody might say no. And that's okay too. Not everybody has the
Mhm.
time, but if you ask, you're going to get there. You're going to get an answer.
Mhm.
And I think that spirit of sort of doing good, having an impact,
Yes.
the world retaliates.
Yes. Exactly.
Mhm.
Awesome. Last question for you. What would be your words of wisdom for the audience?
My words of wisdom for the audience. I think, so I feel like compared to a lot of your guests on the show, I feel a little rinky dink. I feel early in my career, and I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. I'm thrilled with where I am,
Yes.
but I think that I'm coming from a spot where I'm still exploring. Like I'm not super established in a 20-year career at
Yeah.
Adidas or starting my own jewelry line or all these amazing things. And I've listened to the podcast. There's amazing
you.
people. But I think that my words of wisdom from where I am and the experiences that I have, again, I found out kind of early through some luck that I'm purpose driven. I want to have an impact. In my career, in some ways, like started to stray away from that.
Mm.
And I learned quickly that wasn't making me happy. And so I think that my words of wisdom are find out what truly makes you happy.
Yep.
And honestly, it's okay if that's working for the weekend. If you have a
Right.
job, because we need people that work for the weekend. And if there's going to be people who clean floors that aren't excited about cleaning floors, and that's okay. On the other side, like if you are the entrepreneurial type and what really makes you happy is that success, getting to that next level, that next milestone and
Yes.
building your business, that's important. And so figuring out what that is, and it's hard to find out sometimes. Because I didn't realize, like I said, my pivot, I look back retrospectively and know.
Right.
I thought this was all a sidebar. Not that going back
It's
to...
a great sidebar, by the way.
I know. So I think that's the key. And it's kind of hard for me. I have some friends and family with kids, and they were talking about the gifted program and the testing to get into it. And these kids are stressed about studying to get in, and their parents are forcing them through these programs. And I'm like, but if that's not them, like, what are
Yes.
we setting them up for? Like, are
Right.
there gonna be, if they are, that's great.
Yes.
But if they're kind of being pushed down a direction that isn't right for them, because there's so many not gifted streams that if you think about sort of higher education and
Yeah.
do you get your career started early and start making money early, or do you become a doctor and when you're 40 you start making money, but
Yes.
you make $500,000 a year?
Right.
Both are fine, but it's just figuring out what makes you happy.
Yes.
And right now I feel so happy, and I'm so lucky that I've found in my career and in the world what works for me. And it doesn't work for everybody, but just
it definitely works for you.
yeah. But listen to the people around you and respect what they do. But it might not be right for you. So figure out what's right for you. There is something. It will make you happy,
Yes.
but happiness is important for me.
It definitely is.
For everybody, I hope.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Well, I think that the adaptive community is fortunate,
Oh,
is very fortunate that you do believe in purpose, that you are working with purpose at the core of what you do, because you are making an impact. You're making an impact on so many people's lives. And it's not just those that come for the therapy program, but it's the ripple effect, the impact that it has on the families and everybody else within their communities as well, to see these people thriving, right? And I think, the one thing I will say about us working together at Adidas is the core belief was through sport, we have the power to change lives. And you are living that. You're literally living that every day, and you're making an impact on so many people's lives. And so I am grateful for your time, and I'm really excited for what's next, for where the Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society will go, how big it will be, and I will be forever cheering you on.
Thank you so much. And I couldn't have done it without my team and stuff too. So much hard work has gone into it from so many different people. So thank you so much. We appreciate the time to share about it. And
It's great.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. I love the work that Kate is doing as she is bringing hope, adventure, and health to a community that really needs it. Her passion for her work is palpable as she just glows when she talks about her work. We should all be so fortunate. If this story resonated with you, please share it with someone you care about, and be sure to subscribe so you can continue to hear more pivotal stories involving one question, one turning point, one powerful story. I'll see you next week with another guest on the Leslie Hawkins Podcast.